Whoa. 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 Tap in with your kinfolk, you building a night. Got the keys to the city when the city is locked. Open your mind, you can see the culture defined. Through the music and lifestyle, get deep in the lines. Seeking you find, we just want our people to shine. On that platform, you can rewind. This is bigger than some content, you can decide. That the keys to the city podcast is a vibe. Tap in.
Welcome to another episode of Key to the City. Happy 2024. Hold on, let me get my background right. That ain't what I want back there. I guess that is what I want. Oh, it ain't gonna change till I bring this done on. But anyway, welcome to a new year, 2024. We are still in season number 4, man, episode 10. Thankful for everybody that's continuing to rock with your boy, man. 2023, I'm glad we all made it. If you're seeing this, you have made it to another year. You overcame your challenges last year, and I'm proud of you. Your family's proud of you. Everybody that's depending on you is proud of you. And I know it was challenging for me, bro. Like I said, I'm in my 4th season, but this season just felt like I was going through the motions. I didn't really have any motivation behind my episodes. I was just trying to do it to meet my quota, which I do 26 episodes. No, I do 52 episodes a year, but I break the seasons up into 26 episodes. So this is episode 10 of season 4. And, burnout is real. It hit me. So I had to come up with a strategy to maximize my time and also maximize my R&R and ability to recover, because I can't give y'all good quality content if I ain't no good. So, and I just don't want to half-ass nothing. So I appreciate y'all sticking with me through the inconsistencies. And we back on the ground to start the new year. And just like always, we're going to keep hitting you in the head with quality content, quality guests. And this episode is no different. I'm very excited for the young lady that we have on the show today. She's a new author. Yeah, a budding author. And, this is one of my good friends from college. We attended Ole Miss together. And she's always been real with me. And she's always been authentic, which is what I love about her. And if you follow her, you can get that vibe from some of her posts. And, she's very inspirational as well. She's overcome some personal battles, which we'll be discussing today as a new anthology was released. December 12th, I believe it was released, but we'll get confirmation from Miss Dunn on when the book was released. Now, anthology, I know you're wondering just like me, what exactly is that? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is, but I know what it is, but I'm going to let Miss Dunn tell y'all, and we all know together. But it's basically a compilation put together by Angela Carr Patterson, where several different voices are explaining their journey, real people, real stories to awaken the soul. And we all need some type of motivation. We all go through storms and ups and downs in life. Life is a constant roller coaster, but as long as you remain strapped in, baby, you're going to make it to the finish line. So we're going to let this queen come on and tell her story. And, maybe you can get some insight from it, something that's going to keep you going. Maybe you at your wit's end, you're at the end of your rope. You think about ending it all tomorrow or just giving it up tomorrow. But, maybe this story will help you keep your head up and make it just one more day, because we never know what the next day holds. That's why we just got to keep pushing, try to make it to one more day, man. We never know. So I'm going to shut up. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, kinfolk, y'all give a warm welcome to my guest today, Miss Meyasha Dunn. What's going on, Queen?
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you?
Fine. Long day. We're
very
at the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel honored that you took time out of it to come kick it with your kinfolk, man.
Always.
It's a long time no see, and you're still glowing. You're still shining, and I love it. You still look healthy and happy, and you know, those are the signs of a survivor, somebody that perseveres. So we thank you for gracing this platform. Um,
For me.
yeah, tell my audience a little bit about you. Where are you from? Who your folk is? Who your people is? Where they from?
I am from, well, I grew up in Baton, Mississippi. Both of my
Baby.
parents are military veterans,
Okay, what branch?
Army.
Okay.
My dad retired after 22 years, and my mom got out in 10 to be
Mm.
so the discipline that comes with them being in the military was in the house.
Mhm.
So we finally settled in Baton, Mississippi, and I grew up there, and then I relocated to Ridgeland, Mississippi in March 2012,
Okay. Where you go to school?
where I haven't been to school. I
Oh.
started my journey at Ole Miss,
Uh-huh.
and I got pregnant, and I moved back home, and I wanted to go to nursing school. I always
Hmm.
wanted to school, but I had plans to go a different route. So I ended
Right.
up to Holmes Community College for 2 years, and I got my associates. And then after that, I got my bachelor's at Delta State, and I sat out for like maybe 6 months or so. And then
Mm.
I enrolled in the master's program at William Carey, and I graduated in August of 16 with a double master's in nursing.
Mm. You smart as hell.
A little.
So where does the writing come in at? Before we actually jump in the book, have you always been a writer? Like behind the scenes in your spare time?
Always. I used to journal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I discovered at a young age, really, really a young age, that writing in a diary, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. So
Okay.
I was always shy, introverted. I was picked on a lot. And I used to write in my diary, like my diary was my best friend. Like if I had a
Mm-hmm.
bad day, if I had a crush, if my mom was having a bad day and she took it out on me, I told my diary everything.
Mm.
Everything. And then probably when I turned 13, I started writing poems and
Yeah.
poetry. And a lot of my friends picked it up as well. And we used to bring our poem books to school and share. We used to read and critique, and I just fell in love with it. But because I didn't have a lot of friends and we moved a lot, I used to read a lot. Like I had a library
Mm-hmm.
card at a really, really early age.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go pick out the max that I could get a week. And then my mom would take me back, and then I go get some more books.
Mm. Were you ever writing? You get to the point because were you an only child?
Or no. I
Oh,
have
well, you had friends then.
we no, my siblings were not. No.
Messing with you. Okay.
So I had an older brother that did not grow up in the house with us. And then I had a younger sister, and you know how younger siblings are. They do stuff, they get you in trouble all the time, they lie,
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I didn't like my little sister, and my brother was being a big brother, so I didn't like him either.
Mm. Yeah, I was asking because I thought that came from like a only child syndrome because I'm an only child and I did a lot of off the wall shit because I didn't have anybody to play with. I play full football games by myself. I'm both teams. I'm tackling myself and I'm throwing touchdowns to myself. So I started writing as well, poems, poetry, and of course my poetry led into rap.
Okay.
And but I thought it was one of those only child outlet type of things, but I journal now as an adult, believe it or not, and it's very therapeutic. So I'm definitely on board with you there.
And it helps especially if you're like having a rough couple of months or even a rough year, and you finally get out of the rough patch and you just happen to go back and look at that journal,
Mm.
or you're trying to show someone else, be relatable and show someone else that you also went through it, and you let them read those journal entries and you're like, damn, I overcame a lot. Or I
Mm.
don't know how I made it through this, but hey, it's 2 years later and I'm here.
I didn't even think of it like that.
Yep.
That's a story in itself.
Yep.
If you kind of think about it.
Yes. I
Mhm.
could do so much with my old diary entries.
What is that? Would that be like that's an autobiography, right? When you write your own? Okay. See, I know a little something. Uh, but I don't know what an anthology is.
So an anthology book is pretty much what you said earlier, a compilation of either short stories or poems. It's a collection of stories or it's a compilation of short stories or poems
Mhm.
compiled to make a complete book. So this project was compiled by Angela Carr Patterson, and there are 6 women telling completely
Mhm.
different stories in the book.
Mm.
And
And
during the
no,
time, I got to know them on a personal level, and I love them. I wouldn't change. I didn't enjoy the project when I was doing it because I didn't want to
mm.
relive the trauma. I was already in therapy, but it made me dig up a lot
Mm.
that I thought I had overcome, or I didn't realize was still a problem for me. And then every week when I would go to therapy, I'd be in there crying, snotting, upset, mad,
Mhm.
because it resurfaced.
How did the whole project come together? Like, how did she reach out to you specifically and the other 5 women or 6 women?
So my sister, I have an older sister who used her as a business coach a couple of years ago. And she always talks about how great she is. And I had some ideas in mind about a business that I wanted to start. And
Mm.
my sister told me how much she charged, and I was like, I will never be able to afford that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't
Uh,
afford that. So then, I joined. She had something called, I think it was called like the Coaches Cafe. It was like having access to her, but not for whatever reason, whether it was lack of commitment or money or whatever your issue was. If you couldn't fully commit to a year-long commitment and fully come on board with her for coaching, you could get mini sessions with her. And she would come
mm.
on every Tuesday and do Zooms and like this. And she
Mm.
would talk about something. She would ask us questions, or we could unmute and ask her questions about whatever. And she was just very encouraging, very inspiring. And I was on one of her Zooms last year, maybe November, December, and she was talking about a new project she was starting called Awaken Voice. And I had my camera off, but I started crying, and I was like, I
Mm.
just heard this voice say, it's time for you to do it. Because a couple of years ago, she did a project called A Fatherless Daughter. And
Mm.
I also wanted to do that one, but I was not ready to rock that boat. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't want to do it. I wasn't ready. And a couple of years had passed, and she was doing another project, and I called her. I used her link and scheduled a consultation, and the outcome ended up with me doing the project, and I hired her as my life coach slash business coach.
Mm. Very dope. Very dope. Now, are you able to? We definitely want people to purchase the book, and we'll get into all of that later. But can you give us like a brief synopsis of your story, of what you overcame? Something that may, you don't have to spill the full beans, but just, that initial point, that middle point, and when you decided to take control and say, my life is in my hands and I really have to do X, Y, and Z to get my life back. And you gotta start crying up here now. Don't make me cry because I'm an empath and you know my eyes get the water, and if I start looking up, that means I'm trying to keep them back in there. I don't want them to roll out. So what can you share with us though?
So,
And I'm definitely gonna support.
well, thank you. So I'll read
For
a
sure.
small excerpt from the story.
Yes, ma'am.
And yeah, I'm not going to give out the meat. But the
Okay.
name of the
Okay.
story is called Sweet Dreams and Nightmares.
Mhm.
And all I ever wanted since I was a little girl was to be married. I had seen my mom go through several relationships after leaving my dad, and not one resulted in marriage. She was a hard worker, and now I know that she did the best with what she had. She was an Army veteran and a single parent of 3 children, and we received little to no assistance from our fathers. As a matter of fact, my brother had never even met his dad. One of the last memories of my dad was my mom yelling at him while trying to run him over in the parking lot at his job. I remember looking out the back window, watching him as the car drove off, thinking, he's just going to let us leave. I never thought I would see my dad again. My childhood was a lot different after that day. We were poor and moved a lot. Making friends was a struggle for me because I was always on edge due to the fear that my mom would come to the school and disenroll me at any moment. I was bullied a lot and I was always getting into fights. I didn't initiate fights. I was quite shy, but I wasn't about to let another child to bully me. But school became a major source of anxiety and grief.
Mm. What type of emotions or memories stir up in you when you read that? Or are you at a place of peace now? Or does it still kind of make you cringe a little bit when you read? I'm serious. You made me think about my childhood when you know, get deep like that.
It's still real cringy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. I probably didn't spend time. I probably was 5, maybe 6 when we left that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably didn't spend time with my dad for real, until I was 16. And I don't remember why we got into it. Well, we didn't talk for maybe a year and a half. He came to my high school graduation, and I don't know, we didn't spend any time together after that. Like, my dad legit came back to Jackson, caught a flight, and went back home. And I don't know, I was emotional behind it because at the same time, I wanted to spend time with him, but we weren't on the best of terms. But here I am graduating high school and I wanted to go be with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I hated school. I absolutely despised school as a child. But part of it was because you couldn't make friends because we moved so much. And I refused, after like the 3rd move, I refused to make friends with people. My friends, well, my classmates thought I was mean, stuck up, thought I was better than them. And it wasn't that at all. I wanted to play with them in the playground. I wanted to learn the double dutch. I wanted to sit and talk, play with dolls and things. But at any given moment, it was the worst thing ever. If they came on the intercom and told me to come to the office, I got all my stuff and went because I knew I wasn't coming back.
That's kind of like, yeah. So you eventually got to the point where, what's even the point of making friends? Because I could be uprooted at any time, you know. And thank you for being vulnerable with me to share that. You know what I've always thought, man. Like, I think a lot of issues that we have as adults stem from childhood, some type of childhood trauma. I'm serious, man. And it's like you go your whole life dealing or what's the word I want to say? Acknowledging or dealing with everything but that, but the root of all your issues. You know, we never ask why we. I used to think I could never keep a woman, and I didn't know why. And I eventually figured out, or I was kind of in the same boat with you, like especially when it came to relationship with the opposite sex. I didn't want to get too close because I didn't want to deal with loss, and it all stems back to kind of a sort of situation with you. But my father has always been in my life, but I've was raised in a separate household. He was in the military, so he was always traveling. But I was raised with my mom in Mississippi, and then I always thought when you were a kid, you always had that thought that they always gonna get back together. They'll get back together. I'm just waiting for the day. And then when he finally delivered the news, I think I was like 11 or 12 that he was getting remarried. I didn't even know. Yeah, I was legally divorced, but getting remarried, I just remember breaking down in the car. And then you fast forward, so our relationship was kind of hit and miss, and we didn't share a lot. He's not a man of many words. But you get to, I'm 25 years old, and we finally have a come to Jesus meeting. And I'm breaking down as a 25-year-old man, just everything just spilling out of me. And I revert back to that 12-year-old memory and let him know what they did to me and situation like that. But, you know, that's tough, man. It's really hard to deal with. And I think a lot of us just brush it to the side and try to stay busy to, overcome it.
What?
Do you agree with that? Like a lot of adult issues still from childhood?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's weird how it resurfaces. Like, I don't care. And I tell people all the time, I don't care how much you run from pain and trauma. Life has a funny way of making you deal with it. Like, I don't care if you're 45, 25, it resurfaces in some form of your life, and you're going to either cry, you look to something to help you cope, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol. Some of us have support systems and we end up going to therapy, but everybody's not so fortunate. And unfortunately, some people end up taking their lives because they are ashamed or afraid and don't see the light. They don't see how the situation can be better. But it shows up when we have children, when we're raising our children, the problems with relationships. God, really when you're married, like two separate coming together, living together, and you're trying to deal with their trauma, deal with your trauma that you hid, and trying to make it work. And God forbid if you have, I shouldn't even say God forbid, but if you have children together, like the different co-parenting styles, it's just different. It finds a way.
Yeah. If one parent was raised with that parent, every other word is a cuss word, and you a bitch, you a hoe, you this, and you just yell about every small thing, that's gonna transfer to you as an adult when you're dealing with your kids. And I see it clear as day. I don't know. I think a lot of mothers and daughters bump heads.
Currently?
Like that.
Currently?
So I ain't gonna tell my personal business when it comes to y'all know what I'm saying. I got a daughter. She 18, about to be
17.
And every other month I'm getting a call. Come get me.
Yep.
Like, come on, man.
And then they want to be independent until they need you for something.
Come on, man.
Get like this big stop sign, and they're like, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what to do. But a week ago, when I was trying to, help you avoid this, you didn't want the help.
Does some of that remind you of you when you was their age?
No, and that's what's crazy. So my daughter talks a lot. Hell, her mom talks a lot. I talked a lot as a child, but my mom was mean as hell. I don't know if she had PTSD or what. My mama was mean. And I stayed out of her way. I stayed locked up in my room a lot, listening to music. I always had like a Walkman or a CD player, books, my diary. I stayed out of my mom's way, period. So I didn't talk back a lot. I didn't ask her a lot of questions. Hell, I didn't even want her helping me with homework because you either gonna be for not comprehending whatever it was, or you were gonna yell at me, and I was like, I figured out on my own. But unknowingly, I picked up some of those same traits, and they end up coming out. But I guess my daughter tries to figure it out on her own, but in a different way. Like, but the parenting part is a little different. But I couldn't go to my mom for support for anything. I just felt like she wasn't supportive. I was always on the A and B honor roll. Most times I had perfect attendance. I was always involved in a program or something. My mom was never there. I don't care if it's hot water. If my daughter is involved in something, I'm leaving work. You don't let me out from calling in. So I just be there for her in that aspect. And then where, like she's applying to college or filling out her, what is it? The FAFSA. I sent her scholarship information. I sent her test prep information for the ACT. I have it. It's in a way I kind of felt like I was raising myself. But I did have an aunt, and I went to her house a lot to avoid my mom. But we didn't talk about school or anything. That was like my safe space. And I just went there to be around her kids. They had cable, and we did. And my aunt wasn't strict. Like, she lived in a different city, but I had friends there. I pretty much grew up over there. And that was my outlet. Like, she saved me from a lot of everything. So I was running. I didn't have to take books, my diary. I didn't have to take any of that stuff to her house because I didn't need it.
Oh, powerful. That's dope right there. Key to the City podcast. We got the Queen Meyasha Dunn in the building with us. Just a couple more questions before I let you go. Before we get into the upcoming event and how people can get access to the book, I want to ask you, have you forgiven your father? Be real. They say, do you believe that you have to forgive to move on?
I do.
And how do you forgive and move on without closure?
It's kind of like you have to learn to accept an apology you're never going to get. But honestly, I feel like I had more problems with my mom than my dad.
Ooh. She was present.
Yeah. But not really.
Right.
She was in the house, I should say.
But do you think it has something to do with the absence of him? It led to the dynamic of your relationship. Cause they tell me now, and I kind of agree with, like, don't be so hard on your parents. Just like you have concerns or about how you was raised and things like that. Have you researched their background and where they came from and how that impacted them to make them who they are?
Yes.
And give them, how they say.
I think I've forgiven both of my parents. I think.
Okay.
But I have yet to have that conversation with either of them. For different reasons. I feel like my dad I know for a fact he would apologize for not being there. But the older I got, I had to also learn that it wasn't all his fault. You know how one parent tell you one thing to jade your thoughts
Mm-hmm.
to the parent. So I remember being in the third grade, and it's funny now. It's not funny, but
I know.
I remember being in the third grade and I came home and like ate a snack or something and I put it in the trash. And when I put it in the trash, I saw some rips of paper with some handwriting on it. I know my dad's handwriting from anybody's handwriting. So I picked the
Mm-hmm.
pieces of paper up and I smelled them, even to this day. Um, so my dad has 6 girls. So my mom has 3 kids and my dad has 6, all girls. Even to this day, if my dad sends me a Christmas card or a birthday card or a note saying I'm proud of you for anything, he sprays a cologne. My daughter loves it. Like, I think that's the most rewarding thing to this day. She's excited that he sends her money, but she's excited, really, really excited that that card has that smell on it and she smells it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I picked the pieces of paper up out of the garbage can, I smelled that smell. And I took the shards and I held them in my hand and I went and asked my mom, like, and I called him Fred. I was like, he wrote me a letter, like, why did you open my mail? And why did you rip it up and put it in the garbage? She cussed me out like a dog. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she told me the trash was her personal trash and I was staying in the child's place and not to be in it. But that started making me think, like, how many other times did he write me a letter and you didn't give it to me?
Mm-hmm.
So then at the age of 16, my youngest sister is 3 years younger than I am. We went and stayed with him one summer. And during that summer, the first day we got there, like, I walked into some bullshit. First day.
Mm-hmm.
Rode the Greyhound bus and the police showed up at the house. Had my dad, like, he lives in the suburbs. Police was everywhere. They come get us out of the house. They're sitting us on the curb. Some officers are inside questioning him. Some are outside questioning us. And lo and behold, my mom has reported that my dad kidnapped us.
Mm.
Like, my dad had sent us money to eat. He bought the bus tickets, mailed them. They were in agreement to us coming. And the police officers, like, go in the house to get your belongings. We're going to transport you back to Mississippi. I'm trying not to cry because my little sister is damn near hysterical. And I'm like, but we're supposed to be here. Like, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
So then the officer tells me everything that happened. So he gives me his business card and he's like, if you and your sister decide at any point that you don't want to be here, call us and we'll come get you and take you back home. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna need to call you or whatever. So I go back in the house and I try to calm my sister down. And my dad is like holding it together. But I
Yeah.
can tell he feels some type of way. And he's embarrassed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Dad goes to get this briefcase, and my dad has all these letters that I ever wrote to him. He has all these cards, birthday cards, Christmas cards, that
Mm.
every last one of them were stamped return to sender. I never saw them.
Wow.
So that taught me that what I thought and had learned from my mom over the years wasn't true at all. So then
Mm-hmm.
I started investigating, asking questions. I started asking my siblings questions. I started asking my dad questions. And my mom isn't really a woman of many words.
Mm-hmm.
And she gonna tell you shut the hell up talking to her. Like, get out of my face. I don't want to talk about it. So that's that with that. But I discovered this year in May during the the writing of the story
Yeah.
that I really can't blame either of them for what happened, because at this point I've talked to my dad a lot and I understand a lot about my dad's childhood trauma. And then
Mm.
from talking to my aunt and just watching my mom, I've learned about her childhood trauma. And I feel like when two individuals get together and they're both unknowingly broken and unhealed, and they procreate, and you still dealing with your trauma, they're still dealing with their trauma. You bring these children into the world and you're fighting and doing whatever else. That's what ultimately happens to them. And when you separate the child, the children end up going with one parent, and we just do things we shouldn't do. We badmouth the other parent, or we like the hero and paint the other person as the bad guy. But I now understand that the stuff that happened between my mom and dad, my dad did what he knew, he did the best he could. I don't really remember how old they were when they got together, but my dad signed up once to the Army at the age of 18. His mom died when he was 7. His dad wasn't in his life, and he was in his life, but not really in his life. And so when my dad's mom died, he had an older sister living in Florida, and she was married and had her own children. And now their mom had passed. She had to come back to Georgia to get her sister and her 2 younger brothers. So now she's got 3 more children. And at the time, I don't think her marriage was the healthiest. And she's deceased now. But she was mean. I remember going to visit her when we were little, and she was mean. She did not play. So I'm like the offspring from, so I can only imagine what it was like for my dad and his siblings to grow up in our house. And I think they were poor, so my dad went to the military to be able to provide for his children, or to have a decent life for himself.
Right.
And in the meantime, he didn't come from a 2-parent household. His mom had died when he was young, and hell, he didn't know how to love a woman. He didn't know. He was broken in childhood.
Come from a broken childhood and then go to the military. Man, the whole time you were telling that, I'm looking for like, where's the love? He just probably want a strong ass hug.
Yep.
Somebody to tell him they love him. Oh, that's a powerful story, man. Something straight out of Color Purple. Hiding letters like Mr. hit all them letters under the floor. But I want you to tell us about you have a book signing coming up. You're signing the book, and it's also a birthday bash for you as well.
Yes, I'll be 39, and my book signing, the first book signing, isn't here. It's in Winona, Mississippi, at the Winona Community House, January 21st, from 3 to 7. And there's also a documentary that we did along with the book, and it's about, I think, maybe 3 hours long. And so during this particular event, I'll be screening my portion of the book. No, I said it wrong. I'll be screening my portion of the documentary. I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's gonna be nice.
No, it's not.
Bring your tissue.
Yeah. I remember fussing the entire time because I cried hysterically from start to finish. I had a panic attack right before it. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I changed my mind. I wrote my story. Leave me alone. I'm not doing anything else.
Right.
I overcame that part. So yeah, you get to meet, greet, hang out, eat, be festive. Ask me questions. I'm gonna do a Q&A at the end, and so that's it. And I'm sure there'll be other book signings, but right now I'm just gonna focus on this one because this is how I'm celebrating my birthday this year.
And I love it. How can we get access to the book? How can we put our hands on it?
It is available on Amazon.
Okay.
Directly from Amazon. I won't sign those copies because it's not coming from me. But
Mm.
they can follow me on Facebook with my name, Meyasha Dunn. And at the top of my page, there's a pinned post talking about the book, and there's a link to my Square. You can do, the book is $15, and you can do like local pickup or delivery, or if you live a ways off, there are two options. You just pay for shipping, but either way, I'll sign them all and mail them. Well, I'll mail the ones that requested for them to be mailed.
So you do have some on hand, because I want mine signed.
Yes.
Okay.
I have, I think, maybe 3 boxes of books.
Okay. Well, a bit. It's on. Well, Miss Dunn, this has been a powerful episode. If it weren't for Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams, we'd probably be number one with it. And I just appreciate you being vulnerable enough to share with your boy. And you got my throat tight for a minute. You know when you want to cry, your throat get tight. You just try to hold on.
Yeah.
And, but I know you're going to touch somebody with this episode. Somebody will hear it. And I wish you much success in the future. And hopefully this won't be your last writing. We need more. We're going to need that autobiography. I'm just super proud of you. I think what you're doing is dope. And I'm very, very proud of you for overcoming your personal battles and, finding strength to do that. So you always got support here at Key to the City. And we wish you well. And any final words for my kinfolk?
No, thanks for having me. You guys can reach out to me on social media. You can inbox me. You can call me, Facebook Messenger. I post a lot. The past couple weeks I've been kind of quiet because I've had other stuff going on. I've been tired. I love the weather, but I'm back and I'll go back to posting.
There it is. And you guys will see the promo for this episode soon. I am currently in Facebook jail, but I am scheduled to be released sometime tomorrow afternoon. So look forward to that. She is the Queen, Miss Dunn. I am Mr. Key to the City. This has been another episode of Key to the City podcast. Peace, love, blessings. We holler at y'all on the other side. Peace.